Hey there, this is Liz, and I am guest reviewing for Dr. Ruthie over at exploringintimacy.com. Today we're going to take a look at the Hold On To Me Kegel Ball set given to us by the fine folks over at babeland.com. The Hold On To Me Kegel set is sort of a cleverly named set of Kegel balls that were designed by Kandi of The Real Housewives and co-produced or co-created by the folks over at OhMiBod. You may know them from a lot of their toys, which are voice and music activated. There's a couple of things that I really love about this set. First off, as you can see, actually probably a little bit better than on this one, is that each of these balls are actually really tiny. They are 1.25 inches across, which is really nice. A lot smaller than most of your standard Kegel sets, which can actually get quite large. The reason I like these being so small is that there's a lot of people who don't like inserting really large Kegel exercisers for a variety of reasons, either because they're uncomfortable just with having something that size inserted vaginally, or because they have a little bit of vaginal atrophy or a little bit of vaginal damage because of a vaginal birth, any number of things. So I do really like that these are so small. I don't have really large hands, and these are very, very tiny in my hand, which is nice. The only slight downside to a smaller Kegel ball is that small Kegel balls are a little bit harder to hold in vaginally. So if you think that you have slightly weaker vaginal muscles, this is something that you might want to try out at home before you go wearing them to work, just to make sure that you're going to be able to hold these in without a problem. But I really do like the size on these, about 1.25 inches across on these. The other thing that I like a lot about them is that they have demarcations which show you what weights you're working with. So you might be able to see this on the camera. This one has one gold dot on it. This one has 2 gold dots. And then the other ones have 3 gold dots and 4 gold dots respectively. Essentially what that's doing is showing you exactly what weight you're working with. The 1 gold dot is 0.9 ounces. The 2 gold dots is 1.1 ounce. 3 gold dots is 1.2 ounces. And 4 gold dots is 1.4 ounces. So you can see that they progress up in weight. I like that they're demarcated because otherwise there's really nothing that tells these apart in terms of their weight, since they are all the same size, that 1.25 inches across. The other thing I like about these a lot is that they come with 2 different carriers or different holsters for the balls. It comes with a single holster, a little silicone holster here. And this one will allow you to swap in and out any size or any weight ball that you want to use. And then there's the double ball holster, and this one, of course, allows you to use 2. I like this because a lot of sets will only give you the option of a double holster or a single holster, or won't even give you the option of a holster at all, and the balls are actually just attached to each other and you can't remove them. I like the option of being able to insert 2 balls or 1 ball depending on how I'm feeling. I also like the option of being able to change out the weight and mix and match the weights. I think that's a really nice addition to this set. It helps train the muscles at the speed that you're comfortable with, and that's a really important thing in keeping up with your Kegel exercises. That being said, with these holsters, they are a little bit difficult to use. The holsters are on here very tight, which is nice. It does mean that the balls aren't going to slip, but you can see I'm having quite a bit of trouble actually prying this off. I don't know if you can see that real well or not, but I have no fingernails really. So I'm having a little bit of trouble prying that off. This silicone holster is quite stiff. The other problem with the holster is that on these Kegel balls, you can see that there's a wavy line on either side, and that's actually a little divot in the material that's going to allow that holster to settle onto the ball really nice and snug. The problem with it is that because it's actually patterned, because it's a wave and not just a circle, you have to line the holster up exactly with the ball itself. If you don't get it lined up correctly, the holster will sit like this, if you can see that there. It will sit across the ball itself and be raised up off of it, and it will actually become very uncomfortable to insert. Now this is an extreme version, but if I was really trying to put this on and it just didn't fit properly, you might be able to see there, it's a little bit removed from the ball itself. And that's going to be really uncomfortable. So if you have any sort of vision impairment or any sort of manual dexterity, this might be a little bit difficult for you to put back on. You really kind of have to pay attention to how you're putting these balls back in the holster. And I don't like that so much because it does make it really difficult to kind of swap the balls in and out of there, which is not a really great thing. The other problem that I do have with the holster is that the cord that is attached to it, that's meant to enable you to remove this from the vagina, is actually very, very stretchy. You can see that I'm pulling this here and it's just stretching and stretching. I'm concerned that this might break eventually. Now, neither of these have, which is great, but I am concerned that it's a little bit flimsy. I'm also concerned because if I pull this out all the way, I can actually snap it back, and that can actually really hurt. If your hand slips while you're pulling these out, it could snap back and hit you in the vagina and might hurt a lot. So I don't like that a lot either. But I do have to say, in terms of them being a nice solid Kegel ball set, I actually do really like these. They're made out of an ABS plastic and a non-porous silicone. So the balls themselves are ABS plastic. The holster itself is made out of a nice solid silicone. They're very easy to clean with a bit of mild soap and water, as long as you take the ball out of the holster before you do that. They come in the range of weights that we talked about. They come in this nice little case so they can nestle right in here. It has a little bit of a satin bag that you can store the balls in if you don't want to keep them in this box. But it is quite a nice little gift box if you wanted to keep this around. It's very discreet. Nobody would know what it was, which is nice. So I do like it for a lot of different reasons. So if you were looking for a Kegel set that was a little bit on the smaller side, that had the options of changing different weights and the options of wearing different amounts of balls at one time, this set might be a really nice option for you, as long as the flaws that we talked about, the holster being a little bit difficult to get over onto the ball and the cord being kind of flimsy. As long as those don't bother you too much, this would not necessarily be a bad set for you to purchase. So again, this is called the Hold On To Me Kegel set. It's by Kandi. It's called Bedroom Candy by OhMiBod. This was from the folks over at Babeland.com, and it sells for $39 over there, so a really good price. So again, my name is Liz, guest reviewing for Dr. Ruthie over exploringintimacy.com, and I hope to see you again soon.